Stephen Conroy, I'm going to follow the pattern of where I was with the editorial here, which is what happened in Victoria in the past couple of days, which is that the rubber stamp has now been given before you're able to leave your house. The rubber stamp's been given for another 6 months. Here is that vote passing 20 to 19 in the upper house of the Victorian Parliament.
The results of the divisions: ayes 21, noes 18. Therefore, the second reading has been passed. Now the bill will be in a committee of the whole. Thank you.
Now, importantly, as I told you, you're always going to get sold out. Always going to get sold out by the crossbench. So who are the ones who did it? The Animal Justice Party, where even the cat seems slightly creeped out. The militants from the Greens, who come back from maternity leave. And then there's the great sellout that is Fiona Patten. Fiona Patten is from the Reason Party, supposedly the libertarian sex party before all of that. And she, of course, has it both ways. Because, you see, when it was first said that it was going to be 12 months, she decided to, well, say things like this, that the state of emergency gives the government extraordinary powers and almost unchecked ability to make new and override existing laws administratively without Parliament. She went on to say that things like, we can't keep living like this. Well, because 6 months is apparently a whole lot different than 12 months, she ended up voting for it. But are you surprised? She sold you out before. Victoria, she sells you out every time. Last year, she got bought off by the Andrews government, who gave her crossbench party and other minor parties money up front to help pay for their transition and bookkeeping costs going into the last election. That resulted in a $60 million windfall for the political parties, which now the taxpayers will be paying for. Oh, and when there was a chance that she wasn't going to end up in the Parliament, the next time that you read that Fiona was on the fence, Fiona was such an ally of Daniel Andrews that he even offered her a job. When she wasn't going to be in the upper house doing his bidding, she was going to go and work for him. Stephen, well done to Daniel Andrews. He's played this perfectly. The ambered claim of 12 months, he knew he had 3 votes to get over the line. He was able to do it. Well played, sir. Well played.
Look, I'm not sure that I agree with your general thesis there. I don't think the Premier put out a 12-month figure as a boy. I think he was tired. He made a mistake. He hadn't consulted widely enough. He hadn't prepared the ground. And I think that ultimately a sensible compromise was reached. There is a need for the powers to be extended. There's a need for face masks still to be worn going forward. And despite many in the media claiming that this is both draconian and unnecessary, the people of Victoria, on every poll that's been taken so far, have supported the measures and have in fact been prepared to go further than the measures, suggesting even ankle brace should be brought into play. So while there's a legitimate argument to be had, a clear majority of Victorians are supporting the measures that are in place at the moment. Do all of us want them gone as fast as possible? Yes. But I'll tell you what I think most Victorians don't want, and that is to risk going into a third wave, which would just destroy what's left of our economy.
Well, as long as your state government doesn't hire security guards to root the people who have coronavirus and then take it back to their ethnic communities where they were ill-informed about state information about how to stop the virus, it won't happen for a third time. But you know that, Stephen. Here's the thing, this Jedi mind trick, you can't see what's happening, all right? It was an ambered claim about 12 months. Fiona Patten was able to, she is a shrewd politician, but a disgraceful politician, because I get to write the opinion pieces saying, I'm all for freedom.
Oh, I'm all for freedom, I'm all sex, I'm all free love.
And then delivers the vote that at a moment's notice, with no methodology whatsoever, you'll be locked back up in your house for potentially another 6 months.
Well, and it is just absolutely nuts because, as we know, what caused the Victorian outbreak was not people not doing the right thing, as Dan Andrews was so fond of saying, oh, well, it was large gatherings that did it. No, it was every single case that came out of that was a result of those cases that came out of the hotel quarantine. And we know that also this whole thing that all of the chief health officers have taken us to, this idea that we have to get to 0 deaths and 0 cases and turn the entire country on its head, is killing us. We're seeing this in the recession figures. Don't know how many people are going to wind up in serious health strife, Paul, because they didn't get the tests and everything they needed from all of the other damage, the psychological damage that this recession causes. Tony Abbott gave a great speech in London overnight last night, or 2 nights ago, which he said we need to figure out a way to learn from how to live with this virus. We cannot go on with this stop-start thing where every time there's an outbreak. You look at Europe right now, Paul. You look at how people in continental Europe, in the United States, are getting on. You know what? Cases are going up. Deaths aren't increasing. They're dealing with it. It's a background thing. We need to get to that place here as well. And there's no reason why these borders between anywhere except Victoria are still closed.
This is what the Premier had to say about apparently no deal with the crossbench, except the animal justice people, the Reason Party that you were going to give a job to before, and the Greens who were on maternity leave but came back, saved your ass.
Yeah, look, I've seen some of this commentary. We have on this bill, like we do on every bill, we have a good faith discussion with the crossbench. Sometimes members of the crossbench will vote with us, sometimes they won't. It's about finding common ground. I think there's been some compromise. We've given some ground. 6 months is obviously less than we sought, but it's a very important step forward.
Cory, again, this Jedi mind trick, right? People are being bullshitted too. And there's just no other polite way of it. And I'm a bit cranky tonight, I get it, right? But I'm cranky because it just doesn't matter. And this is what I find infuriating, right? That it's illegal to mow your mum's lawn in Victoria. It's illegal. The State Premier of Queensland denies a mother and father the chance to be beside a baby who could have died in the first day of life. The South Australian Premier has restrictions for pubs but can piss off to Queensland to go to his son's graduation. We have exemptions for former Prime Ministers to be able to fly somewhere to go on trade envoy missions. Yet the normal person is just screaming because we're going to pay for it all, but shut the F up.
Paul, you should be cranky because madness has taken hold here. The people of Victoria should be cranky, the people of South Australia, all around the country, because they don't know it yet, but their lives, their economic and financial futures have been decimated by this. We have not felt the effects of this recession yet because the government has been throwing hundreds of billions of dollars into the economy, and people, and this is what I suspect Stephen Conroy was saying, the Victorians don't mind it, is because they're on JobKeeper, JobSeeker, they're getting more cash. If you're a junkie, you're allowed out in the streets to go out and get your fix and go into the shooting house.
Correct.
But if you're a Black Lives Matter protester, that's okay to go out into the streets. But woe betide if you put a Facebook post up, the police will come in and arrest you in your pyjamas like that poor woman happened today. Madness has taken hold in this country, Paul, and you should be cranky and every Australian should be cranky too.